Hey BookTube, welcome to Jack's Literary Corner. I am Jack, and um, so remember in the last video I mentioned the whole name thing? Well, I think the reason is I call my Facebook group Reading Corner, and I think this is Jack's but I think my YouTube channel is Literary Corner. So, by the way, if that's why I'm referring to it as something different. Although I'm sure people would notice if you message me that I'm calling it a different name. But anyway, so I am off tomorrow. Finally, I'm off again for the next 2 days. I have an appointment tomorrow, so I won't get to really sleep in. But at least after my appointment, I don't have to go to work. So I really pray that they don't ask if I can come, because they already are having me come in on Saturday. They already asked me to come in on Saturday. And I'll feel obligated to say that I'm available. No, honestly, I really don't want to come in. I like having my days off. I mean, my job is not that bad. I mean, it's just like any other retail job. You're on your feet for 4 to 8 hours. 4 to 8 hours, not 48 hours, 4 to 8 hours. And even 4 hours is a lot. And I don't know if it was just that I ate a corn dog right before, and that's not the most healthy, and it's kind of greasy. But I just was still feeling like I didn't have a lot of energy when I first got there, and I couldn't like take a break right after I got there. So I got through those first couple hours, and then took a break at 3, and then unfortunately it rained, but we finally got a little sun today. We finally got some sun this evening. And we got some sun in the afternoon, but the sky really opened up at like 3 or 4. I think it's around 4. And like it started pouring for quite a while, but then it did stop. So we got a little bit of sun, but then it looks cloudy again, and looks like tonight we're gonna get some rain, which is fine. I mean, I'm going to bed anyway, so it won't matter as long as I don't wake up with the power out, which would really suck. Although it could be an excuse for me to go out and go to Books A Million and then rent and do a couple other things if the power did go out. As long as it's not raining. But anyway, so I still don't know when I'm gonna bring on the cruise. That's coming up in a week. I don't know which books I'm gonna bring. I mean, I really shouldn't. I really should just bring one big book. And that's in the beginning, when this first was established that we're going to go on this cruise, I was like, you know what, I should just bring one big book. And it has, and every time when a vacation comes up, as I get closer to vacation, I keep being like, there's so many books that I want to bring, and I can't bring a lot, even more so with this trip, because we're going to be on a plane, and then we're going to be on the ship. So it's not like going to my grandma's where we're just going to be in a car for a few hours, and then the only person, it's a little bit harder to bring, like, at least with, being in the car, I can easily fit, like, more than I can handle, and only I have to worry about it. So, and we're, again, we're going to be in the car, so it's just easy, and we're not going to be traveling, or, that much. We're like not going back and forth that much, so it's easier to get away with it. And I'm of course not going to bring Prowler on the Orange Tree because it's a chunky book. So it's a hardback. Paperback won't come out for probably another year or two, which really sucks. I mean, I wish they would just come out at the same time so you have a choice, but maybe publishers are thinking you're going to automatically lean towards one or the other. So, and I know that paperback is more appealing in the sense that it's cheaper and not as heavy, easier to travel with. It seems so easy when we first think that, I'll just bring one book, or just bring, and it, as it gets closer, I want to bring more than one, because I don't like just bringing one book with me. and even my aunt said she's gonna bring 2 paperbacks. I think, or at least I think that's what I heard her say. But anyway, so far I'm leaning towards Way of Kings is one of the books that's coming. And there is still some, of course there's some books, but there's also some shows I want to watch. Like, I'm on season 3 of Angel, because I couldn't watch Netflix because there were some shows on Netflix that I want to watch before, and I'll get to those in a minute. But the power did go out because of the storm, so Netflix was so I can only watch all my DVDs, and so I watched Angel and got to season 3. And now that show in particular, it's not going to be as big of a deal if I don't finish it or don't progress that much farther in that until after the cruise, until we come home. Because, it's mine now, and I can watch it anytime I want, and there's no fear of it getting taken away from me. Like on Netflix, shows can be taken off of Netflix. But I'm hoping the 2 that I'm thinking of won't be taken off because they are, really old shows, like 80s and early 90s. So I'm hoping that people will, and I'm guessing they're super popular because it's part of the Star Trek franchise. I'm talking about Next Generation. I'm on season 6 or 5 or 6. So only a couple more, or one more season to go, which is yay! I'm still having a good time, but I'm having a great time with it. I love it. And it's fun. I mean, I don't understand all the science. That's what makes me nervous about science fiction type shows, is the sciencey aspects of it. I'm worried that I wouldn't understand it and be able to get into it, that I might be bored. And then also, finally, I decided to watch Deep Space Nine last year. And last summer, I watched some of the episodes. And but those shows I particularly wanted to watch because Terry really wanted me to watch them. Terry from Florida is the one who got me into Next Generation. And I want to progress in Deep Space Nine because I want to assure her that, yes, I'm watching the show. I'm enjoying the show. I want to watch it. Because I feel like she questions me wanting to watch it because I haven't watched it yet. But I did watch it when we were here. It's just, she forgot because it was so long ago. So it was like last summer. So yeah, she forgot, so it's understandable. So I'm like, I almost, I started to watch it the other night because to prove to me, like, look, see, I'm watching. In fact, I'm on episode 7 right now. Or actually not anymore, but at the time when I messaged her, I was on episode 7, which is an episode where the character of Curzon was framed for murder. And for any Trekkies out there that watched that one, which, I mean, I'm sure all the Trekkies probably watched all the shows that were Star Trek related. He was a Trill. In Trill, they are symbiotic beings who will eventually they will die and take on a new host. And the new host will have the memories and everything of the previous host, or its previous host, but it won't be the same. So Curzon was framed for was framed for murder of someone as Curzon, but then now Curzon is gone, and it's still the same physical alien, but it's a different person, a different host. So it's a very complicated situation. And then I started watching another one where, let's see if I can remember. I can't remember what happened. Once I start watching it again, I'll remember obviously. I do not remember what happened. But anyway, I could bring Way of Kings and Clockmaker's Daughter with me. But there's other classics I want to read, and there's other books that, like The Shining by Stephen King. I need to get back to that. And Needful Things. I need to get back to that because I was supposed to read it last month. And it totally fell through. I don't know why this is nothing against Missy from Binge Reader in her group, but I shouldn't have joined it because I would not be good at the follow through. It's not because of her or anything. Or because of her group. It's because I'm just bad at follow through. And, that is a big chunky book. It would take forever to read, and I'm not focused on just those books. I'm focused on all these other books. And of course, I'm going to prioritize the books that aren't going to take me as long to read or as long to finish first before I get. And sometimes because it's contemporary and you focus so much on characters as much as I love it, sometimes it can be tedious at the same time. But anyway. So, basically, back to Star Trek. So, I wanted to, yes, I am watching it. I want to watch a few more episodes before the cruise. I need to get back to Next Generation as well. I'm going to try to watch a few episodes of that. But the other problem is it's a new show, and I feel like I have to pay attention, but at the same time, I want to watch YouTube videos at the same time. So, I don't hear everything. Although I got the basic gist of what was going on, and actually it's not exactly a dumbed down show. It's definitely not a dumbed down show, but it's a little more, it's not it's hard to explain, but I am able to follow what's going on and understand it and stuff like that. So that's the shows. And I wasn't going to watch a lot more Downton Abbey, but I don't think that's going to happen, so I ended up messaging Terry. I was like, okay, Terry, please don't watch any more of the show. Don't watch any more of Downton Abbey because I don't want you to get too far ahead of me. Which I know, maybe. So, I don't think she is. Now let's get back to why my channel really exists, and that is that I want to talk about books. Okay, so, surprisingly, I progressed pretty far, and I'm almost done. I still got a good chunk to read, but I could potentially finish this book. His Majesty's Dragon, the Tamara series by Naomi Novak. She's the one who wrote Uprooted and Spinning Silver, which are on my list, which reminds me I gotta take some things off my Amazon wish list because I bought them myself. This is basically a story about if there were dragons during the Napoleonic War. So, and I have just realized that I'm reading 4 books that have to do with the Napoleonic War in some way or another. This one, it is the war itself, and what if there were dragons in that war? Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell. It's kind of similar to this, but except for it's not dragons, it's actually just magic in general. If there were magicians during that time period, how would they help the war? Although that's a chunky book, so I don't know if that just focuses only on that. But anyway, and then, let's see, and then there's the other, I like this, enthralling read, like Jane Austen playing Dungeons and Dragons with Aragons, Christopher Paolini. I love that quote. But anyway, and then War and Peace is what's going on in Russia during the Napoleonic War and their opinion. And I'm still at the beginning of the book, so people are talking about the war. And then Count of Monte Cristo is either, I can't remember if it's after the war where I am in the book right now. I'm not sure, but either way, it also references the Napoleonic War. It's before and after the war, during the war. So it's very funny, and that was not on purpose. I did not think about that. I just happened to be interested in books that all 4 of them had to do with the Napoleonic era. And in fact, I'm not even reading Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norwell anyway, although that's one of the books I might take on the cruise. But anyway, where was I? And they are finally going. I think it's basically about this guy, a Navy captain. him and his crew commandeer a French ship, and they find a dragon egg on the ship, and he accidentally bonds to the dragon Temeraire, and they become best buds. And he ends up he becomes a dragon rider, and he actually he becomes attached to Temeraire, and starts to actually like it. And he's been training to be a dragon rider. But and of course it has the elements of there are some evil friends and enemies, and you can't. There's one guy who doesn't treat his dragon very well, but Lawrence has to be really careful what he says to this guy because he is a lord. Which really sucks because then he's gonna get away with however he treats his dragon. I want to punch the guy. And the dragons are like your baby. You can't treat them like them. And he's like, oh, I have to discipline them, treat them with a firm hand. You're beyond firm. You're like punishing you're making your dragon scared of you. And one day your dragon's gonna snap and kill you. But although his dragon is very submissive. But and now he and Lawrence and the crew and his team are going out into the battlefield. That's the last part I read. So, and they're fighting now. There's also War and Peace. I want to progress in that one. I want to read at least a little bit more, but I don't know if that will happen or not. As pretty as the images are on these bookmarks, the tassels are always falling off in these books.
Are you recording?
Yeah. Sorry. But this is the other book that's about the Napoleonic War. It's a chunker of a book. And this is one of the ones I'm thinking about bringing, but I don't know. It's pretty big. It's pretty chunky. And I probably won't even get to it anyway. And there's not a lot going on here. Just introduce the characters they are discussing. There is this count is gonna die, and his bastard son, the mother of his bastard, has persuaded the count on his deathbed to put in his will to give him finances and stuff, and his half-siblings don't like that. They're not too keen on that. And although his half-brother, Prince Vasily, he's a little nicer than the half-sister. She's kind of a bitch. But then I don't know much about the kid, Pierre, that's his name, the bastard's name. I don't know much about his mom. I don't know if I can trust her or not. But we will find out. The other big book I want to progress on a little bit more is Priory of the Orange Tree. Like I said, I was going to bring this one with me, but I've resigned to the fact that it's too heavy. It's too big. But let's see, where have we got? Okay, so Tawny has she's passed her trial. She kicked Terusso's butt, yeah. And she's been God chosen. Like, she got her robes that declare her as God chosen. And then you have, oh really? There's only one more page left of this chapter. I probably couldn't keep my eyes open though. Which is really awesome. And and then one of our other main characters, Iad, is her foster father returned, and he tells her, okay, you gotta come back to the mother, the old Mother Abbess has just died, and the new Mother Abbess wants you to come back. But Iad, despite the fact she does not really like the Queen Sabrin, she doesn't have a very high opinion of her. She's like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna be loyal and help this woman out because she really believes that something's going on. There's a possibility of the Nameless One returning. That threat is looming. So she decides to stay and continue her job as protecting the Queen, who's a bit of an idiot. I don't think she's entirely an idiot, but she's a bit naive. And then the other is Loth has approached to, reach the island to talk to King, Sargoso, I think that's his name. She's come to talk to him about, he's come to talk to the king and find out, did he really betray them, and do they really worship the Nameless One? And obviously they do, going by what's going on there. And he meets the princess slash queen. I guess she's queen because her father's not running things right now. And she reveals to Loth that her father has been turned into a puppet by Phaedrel, who has been around for a while, has been come back for a while, and she has asked Loth to help her, and he can refuse, but then he'll be stuck there on this little island kingdom place if he doesn't help. So it kind of ended with it being like, okay, it's your choice. What's it gonna be? And ended like on a cliffhanger. And actually, it turns out though that this king, is actually kind of a douchebag. He tried to kill. Because Sabrin's mother, Rosianne, refused him. He got all jealous, pissy, and gave her a poisoned robe or something as a gift. And she's like, and that's how he tried to kill her. Oh, and then there's also, what's his name? Dr. Roos is leaving. He has been sent away again, so he's traveling to another place. So much is going on. I'm really enjoying this book. And like I said, I would love to bring it with me on the cruise, but it's a heavy book. So I'm gonna resist. I just want to read a lot more of it. And then, so I decided to go ahead and start reading this book, a book that I just got from the Gibbons bookstore, because I always worry that books that I buy from there, that all of a sudden I'll change my mind after a while, I won't want to read them. So I decided to read it while it was fresh on my mind, while I was thinking about why. And this is about a woman, an American woman, Claire, who, when she was a little girl, she fled her abusive home after her mother died and changed her name and everything, and she married this guy and became a socialite and in Manhattan, New York. And this guy, and she meets one of her husband's friends who's a Parisian guy, Laurent, and starts flirting with him, and she has a bit of a fling with him, despite the fact that she's married to this other guy. And he always tells her all about Paris, and he invites her to come with him. And then one day, when her past from her childhood catches up to her, Claire decides, okay, that's it, I'm leaving, because her husband's kind of a jerk anyway. He's an abusive jerk, so she's in another abusive relationship. So she's like, you know what, I'm leaving. And she runs away to Paris. But this is in 1940s, so unfortunately, this is during the German occupation. And they basically, and when she gets there, her papers get stolen, and she realizes that the Germans are marching on the city of Paris. So she's alone and scared, and gets, she goes to Laurent, thinking he'll let her stay, but then Laurent has a friend there, Thomas Gray, a British guy, who's not too keen on Claire being there, and he tries to convince Laurent to send her back, but Laurent refuses, and, it seems like Laurent is going to let her stay, but then she starts getting the impression that he's only going to let her stay for the night, but then he's going to send her back to America. So Claire, being the resourceful and stubborn woman she is, flees from him and to spite him, and is found by this woman who runs a flower shop, and feeling sorry for Claire, gives her a job at the flower shop because she shows promise having a gift with flowers. And then Laurent had invited, and then Laurent, when he sees her again, invites her to his place to have dinner with and of course she finds out Laurent is married. And they use that cliche a lot. I think I've seen that cliche, that type of plot before, where that cliche of French guys, they're so laid back that even if they have a wife, they'll still have, it's not a big deal if they have a woman on the side. And, some friends of Laurent's, see Claire as someone that they can not only help, but they can use her as a spy because she's actually because of her socialite skills. And her and Gray, despite the fact that they didn't like each other at first, start showing attraction to each other. And that's as far as I've got so far in the book. It's really good and really interesting, and so interesting to see Claire going through all this. And as I'm reading, I'm like annoyed with her that she's all like, I'm gonna abandon this cause but at the same time, because she starts to get a little scared, and it's like, it's my life. And on the one hand, and my first initial reaction, I will admit, is like, no, don't abandon them. They do care about you. They are starting to like you and everything. But it's not just, oh, who cares? But then on the other hand, I can understand her. She doesn't know these people that well, and she is risking her life, so it's kind of understandable. And the reason why she came to Paris was to have fun. She didn't come to risk her life and to deal with all this German occupation crap. So it's her reaction is understandable. On the other hand, I'm like, no, don't abandon these people. So I understand like both her motives for not wanting to help them, but at the same time, I'm like, no, you can't abandon them. Plus, I also decided to read this because I need to read historical fiction. And I love books set in Paris. I'm always a thing for France. And then the other book I want to start, I'm going to work on is, I got 2 more books here. Okay, so the other one is, I want to continue with Last Queen by Sigrid Pike. And I've already talked about what this book is about. I'm going to tell you again, though. It's about the sister of the guy who becomes Merlin. It's about her life and her life and her destiny, and how people have forgotten her story, as if the legend is real and everything. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if there was a real King Arthur, or even Merlin for that matter. That'd be kind of cool though if there really was a Merlin. And it's first we are in her childhood with her brother, and we see how happy her life is, but how she has been told that she is going to one day bring a marriage alliance into the family. That's her only purpose, but she wants to be a wisdom keeper like her mother was. Only her brother gets to do that. And it seems like her brother doesn't really appreciate that he gets to be the wisdom keeper, and she's always wanted that, more than anything, to be like her mother. But the only thing she's going to be able to do is get married and have, make babies. But it's one of these situations where I think she's going to realize that, yeah, she doesn't get to be a wisdom keeper, but she's going to start seeing the value in her role in all this. Of course, which, of course. When her and her brother were kids, their father finally decides to take them to meet Pendragon, whose first name I don't remember. Langareth, that's the girl's name. Langareth and Laukin. They are taken to see where Pendragon is. It's not Uther. It's not Arthur. I'm guessing this is Uther's father, so Arthur's grandfather probably. And unfortunately, she witnesses when Langareth is there. She witnesses religious speakers getting murdered. She witnesses murder and brutality, and she can't handle it. So she's perfectly content with staying at home in her father's castle and taking care of that. But then finally, their wisdom keeper teacher, Catherine, is like, okay, enough is enough. You can't stay here anymore. You have to come back to this city, and Partik is what it's called, and we have to find you a husband. And that's the last thing she wants. But then when she's there on her moon day, she has a mysterious encounter with a soldier of Pendragon's. Like a mysterious soldier named Malgwyn. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. And she's immediately drawn to them, even though she's been adamant she's not going to go fall in love with a guy and get married and make babies. And at the same time, though, she is told that she has to marry like a king or a lord, but she can't marry a soldier, which really sucks. I would hate to be, as much as I love reading books about this kind of stuff, like historical fiction and fantasy books, the way women are treating those stories, I would not want to live in that kind of world, because it would totally suck for like a woman to live in that kind of world where she doesn't have a lot of power. Although I feel like in fantasy you don't necessarily have to do that kind of cliche. In fact, I watched a booktuber who was talking about that, who noted that how a lot of time fantasy will do that. It's like, why? I mean, it might have even been Elliot Brooks who talked about that. But why? I mean, you don't need to do that. It's fantasy. You can do what you want. Why do you have to go fall on that? But I guess it provides interesting drama and conflict and stuff. And, it gives a good motivation for a woman to fight back. And then I also I'm going to attempt to start Wicked Saints. Now that I read Gilded Wolves and King of Scars, I want to start this because I continue to hear about it. Oh, I hear thunder. And not everybody loves it, and I'm almost determined to read it because I keep hearing about it and not everyone loves it. Because I want to love it because I spent the money. I mean, although I got it from Costco, so it's not as expensive as, like, let's say Books A Million. It's actually $11.99 for this hardback. So it's really not. I mean, most hardbacks. Ooh, it hasn't. Let them fear her. Most hardbacks are like $20 to $30 at like Books A Million or Barnes & Noble, but this is only $11.99 because it's from Costco. So I was very excited to get it. I love these end pages. It's really pretty. And also I'm pretty easy. In all honesty, I feel like I'm easy when it comes to books. So, I don't know which ones particularly. I know I definitely need to read The Lost Queen and The Last Time I Saw Paris. But I also want, like I said, I want to put a bigger dent in Priority of the Orange Tree and War and Peace. And then also, I want to finish, another one I want to finish is His Majesty's Dragons. So that's what's going on in my reading update. I'm going to upload this in a little while. So I'd love to know what you guys are currently reading. If you're not, if you don't have to work tomorrow, I'd love to know what you're reading tomorrow. Or when you finally get some free time tomorrow. If you like this video, be sure to give a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to know when I upload and post new videos, click the bell icon below. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading. And I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!